Hello, everyone. It is everybody's favourite time of year, being autumn, and so many of you are beginning to re-watch Gilmore Girls. This may be for the first time, the second time, or countless amounts of time. But today, I wanted to talk to you about my 5 unpopular opinions about Gilmore Girls and to see if any of you agree with some of these unpopular opinions. And so, let's begin. The first one being, I really dislike Rory as a character. At the beginning of the show or the series, she was really nice. We had this young, motivated young lady who had such great ambitions to go to Yale and really achieve everything she wanted to do. Now, obviously, she didn't want to go to Yale initially, she wanted to go to Harvard, and that later changed during the course of the series. However, she still had a very good set of morals and she was very dedicated to achieving such high goals. And so for me, there was nothing but a downfall in her character arc. She was very entitled. The treatment of others throughout the series is appalling, and it seems that she just gets worse and worse as we go through the seasons. She absolutely has no appreciation of the privilege that she has. And like I said, the way she dismisses people or the way she just even speaks to people, including people like her mother, her treatment of Marty, the treatment of Dean. Let's not even get into that conversation. That could be a whole other video, but she did treat Dean pretty badly. And don't get me wrong, Dean has his own character flaws. She treated him with a lot of disrespect. And again, there were a vast amount of characters that she also did this to. She really took for granted her friendship with Lane, and so it would have been actually nice to see a lot more of Lane and how her influence as a good, lovely character may have had on Rory. But again, that's not how it was played out on screen. The second unpopular opinion that I have is that I don't think I am team Dean, Jess, or Logan. For me, I think there were so many negatives to each of those boys, particularly with Dean and Jess. I mean, Dean was very controlling. He needed to know where she was, what she was doing, and he just seemed very obsessed with her. And as I watched this when I was younger, this may have been misconstrued to the he really likes her. As watching this as a teenager, I probably would have thought that he was really nice and wanted to be with her all the time. But as an adult, you can kind of see this as a red flag. He really didn't need to be so controlling and put a lot of pressure on Rory to spend time with him when she was concentrating on her studies. With Jess, I really didn't think he was a great influence on Rory. I really didn't think Jess was the right person for Rory either. I mean, he was very grumpy. He never wanted to engage in conversations with anyone else other than Rory. And he just seemed to have this sort of bad boy-esque vibe going on. And don't get me wrong, again, as a teenager, I would have thought he would have been a lovely boyfriend. I know certainly that a lot of my friends would have probably been drawn to him. However, again, he didn't really treat Rory very well. He disappeared. He never returned her calls. This is shown at the point of when they sort of break up. He doesn't even tell her that he's going to go find his dad. He simply just leaves the series and kind of leaves Rory not knowing what's going on. And so she ends up breaking up with him over the phone during her high school graduation. And the third love interest being Logan, I think out of all of them, if I were to choose one of them that was more suited to Rory, I think Logan probably is the most like her. And so I don't think that he is a particularly great person either. Again, has a lot of privilege, he's very entitled, he doesn't seem to really have any care in the world other than for himself. However, as adult Rory gets older, their characters are very much aligned, and so if I were to choose, I really think that Logan is probably the best choice for her. Again, I don't really have the best feelings towards Rory either. Obviously, I don't really like Rory as a character, so it is what it is. My third unpopular opinion is that I really don't see why people love Lorelai as much as everyone seems to make out, and that's both fans and the people in the show. She doesn't seem to be the nicest of people either. Again, the way she treats people can be quite negative. especially in relationships. I feel so sorry for Mr. Medina or Max. The way she treated him, going back and forth and not treating him with very much respect, and just deciding a few days before their wedding that she didn't want to get married to him anymore. And then when she felt lonely, she kept going back to him and sort of giving him false hope that maybe she did like him, when we all know that her heart didn't lie with Max. And I thought that was quite mean treatment. Another time that we really see Lorelai be quite nasty and cutting is with her treatment of Suki. There is a scene where Suki's talking to Lorelai, and Lorelai basically says to her, well, what do you know about relationships? It's not as if you've had a boyfriend in a very long time. And even though she checks herself and says, I shouldn't speak to you like this, it's never okay for me to talk to you like that, it's very telling of her personality that she can be very defensive and quite nasty when she needs to be. And so I don't think I can forgive her for her treatment of Suki, not just then, but in other parts of the series as well. Unpopular opinion number 4. I really love Paris as a character. I might even go so far as to say that she may be one of my favourite characters of the series. In the first season of Gilmore Girls, of course, she is cutting. She is so negative. She is really the typical bully to Rory. And so we don't really get along with her as a character, but I think her acting skills and the way she presents the character is so well written. I think we grow to love Paris as Rory does, in the sense that she does, in fact, when she gets older, she does care for Rory. She is very encouraging of Rory and wanting her to succeed, despite the fact that that wasn't really the case when they were in high school. And she really does excel in life. Obviously, it goes a little bit downhill in the revival for her. However, we do love Paris. I think everyone could say that they've been to school with a girl like Paris, who is quite mean and quite catty and bitchy. However, it is nice to see that as she gets older, her personality does change. However, her mean streak always stays with her. And finally, number 5, my 5th unpopular opinion is that, do I like Luke or don't I like Luke? That is the question. Now, most people are so happy that Lorelai finally realises that she should be with him. There's a lot of relationships before Luke that she gets into, and everyone seems to be rooting for Lorelai and Luke to get together. Now, eventually they do get together, and it's really nice, and we all get that warm, comforting feeling that two people that are meant to be are together. However, even though Lorelai isn't the nicest person, he doesn't really treat Lorelai very well. He, again, is very much like Jess. He is very grumpy. He doesn't talk to other people with that much respect. And we clearly see his treatment of her being quite poor in the episode when they go to Martha's Vineyard to stay with Logan and Rory, and how he completely ruins Valentine's Day at the beginning, where he doesn't really acknowledge the fact that it's Valentine's Day. He isn't very kind. He's grumpy. He's complaining about everything to do with the holiday. And then, to make up for that, not only is he grumpy and negative, but he doesn't even get Lorelai a token gift. I mean, you don't have to spend endless amounts of money on someone to show that you appreciate them. Some flowers, a nice card would have done the job nicely. However, he relies on Logan, who's obviously spent far too much money on Rory, and got her 2 gifts.
Sister makes jewelry, so I picked up some terms.
Wow, I love it. Happy Valentine's Day.
Back at you.
Well, I guess it's my turn. Happy Valentine's Day.
Really?
Really?
Oh my God, Luke, it's beautiful.
Good. It's gonna look great on you.
Look at this.
We all know he finds out that April is his daughter, and he keeps this from Lorelai for many, many months. And don't get me wrong, again, I really understand the fact that he would have liked to have concentrated on building a relationship with his daughter, but completely shutting his partner out and not speaking to her, even just explaining the existence of April, is just beyond I don't know. I mean, for me, it just wouldn't be tolerated in a relationship that I was in. So, anyway, those are my top 5 unpopular opinions. I do have many, many more, but I would really love to hear some of yours in the comment section below. If you have anything you'd like to add, please pop your comments there and I'd like to chat with you and we can have a further conversation and discussion there. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.